Hello and welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering Stage 1 of Finnish Brutality 2025 Fire and Ice Ski Patrol. And on this stage, you started out from the starting position with these long sticks on your feet, and you hit a popper that's between two other poppers. Obviously, the two poppers are penalties if you knock them down. Then you skied to your first shooting position, and you notice I changed into someone else. That's right, I had a few camera gremlins going on here. So switched over to Matt because he had the best run of Team America here. Yeah, that's right. Team America came to Finnish Brutality 2025, and you're going to see the best of our runs with each stage here. Now, Matt had an illegal advantage. He had actually skied before, whereas Nick and I never had. Well, that's not true. I had one time before back in 2021 when they had a very abbreviated Winter Brutality. And Nick, being a Florida boy, had never seen snow before or been in a cold situation like he was here. Matt, on the other hand, had done a bunch of skiing when he was a kid, so it all came back to him like riding a bike, and he ended up doing the best out of all of us on this stage. Now, you had two targets downrange. You had to hit in a 1-2-1-2 pattern. The left target was a full-size silhouette, pretty easy to see. The right side target was about the equivalent of 8 or 10-inch gong that was blending in perfectly with the background and was almost impossible to see. Matter of fact, I could kick myself on the stage and so could Matt because we had learned at earlier Finnish Brutalities that magnifications help, and while both of us were using aimpoint T2s on our rifles, we didn't bring our magnifiers, and that was a pretty large oversight, to be honest, because we knew better. Now, when you got to the different shooting positions, you had different things to do. At that first shooting position, you had to use your ski poles in a bipod fashion. Here at the second shooting position, you had to use them as a monopod. And when you got to the final position, you could go freestyle and use any method that you wanted. Like I say, even if you look down here at the targets, you can see the one on the left. You cannot see the one on the right. It was a pretty tough deal.
The background is head high. It's like the head. Hit.
Even though we're on 150 meter range and your longest shot is probably about 100 meters, these are tough targets. And also, everybody informs me the snow is really tough here because you can see there's a little trail we're following. It had been unusually warm in Finland this year, and they didn't really have any snow at Lopi, so they had to bring it in by the truckload and create this path for everybody to ski on. And I'll take it on the authority of all the Finns that this is actually pretty hard to do. This kind of snow is actually pretty hard to ski on. And Matt almost makes it here, but times out just before the final shot.
Yeah, that was time.
Now, the name of the stage was just like it said. It was a skiing stage. And if you had skiing skills, you could do okay on the stage. And if you didn't, well, you were challenged. And one of the challenges of the stage is we're in Finland. It's February. They had no snow. They literally had to bring it in by the truckload to make enough snow that we could ski on. So that made for a challenge. It was the first stage of the match. It was our fourth stage. So, Matt, you did the best on this stage.
Yeah, I mean,
you start first.
You kind of said it right. Is if you had the ability to ski. It's been 30 years since I've been on skis, but it's kind of like riding a bike. You kind of get the gist of how to move on them. So staying up was key. Being able to get like relatively decent movement, slow and steady. I just honestly the skiing part was good. I had trouble seeing the small target. That was kind of my consistent issue, but overall it was a fun stage.
Yeah, and I should have started off with this, but one of the things you had to do from your start position, you got to hit on a popper between two poppers, so you couldn't knock the flanking ones down, and then you skied to three different positions, of which there were two targets that you had to get 4 hits in a 1-2-1-2 pattern. One was a full-size silhouette, the other was a small gong. The gong was blending in incredibly well.
Absolutely.
And when you got to the end, after getting that 4th hit, you dropped your magazine and fired a clearing shot at the same gong. Matt had a good run. You made it all the way to the end. You just missed that clearing shot.
Yeah, I think it was just the clearing shot was all I had.
Well, on the other end, Nick, this was your first time on skis
Yeah.
in snow in the coldest weather you've ever been in, Florida boy.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's the most snow I've seen in my life, and yeah, it's casual. Hey man, here's some skis. Go do a stage. So yeah, hitting the skis, the experience there was interesting. The staging area where you had like, okay, hey, we're gonna be fitted on for skis was great, and just putting them on, getting them tightened in, I didn't know what I was really in for. Even just like the little 10 feet, 10 yards of like area to practice in, going from one station to the other was not enough preparation for me to do well on that stage. So I did time out on that stage. I don't remember if I got to the second I think I got to the second position, or I was just moving. I don't remember which, but I didn't get to the last position. I ate penalties on that.
Yeah, and I ate a ton of penalties on that. That stage kind of killed my match for me, because for me it was my second time on skis. My first time being 3 years ago in the original Winter Brutality. I'll put a link to that at the end of the video. And it was on the exact same range.
Yeah.
And I think my cumulative ski total after the stage is maybe 100 meters of distance. And all the Finns did give us a break. They did tell us with that imported snow that it was more ice than snow, and the skis weren't.
The East Coast snow, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was not reacting well. And I got so nervous about falling down, and when I did fall down, about getting up, that I so concentrated on that, I didn't apply my fundamentals of marksmanship. And that very small, incredibly hard to see target kind of totally kicked my ass, to be honest.
It was a difficult target to begin with. Like we mentioned, it was blending in, and that's okay. That's the way these things work. But yeah, each of you guys just had a red dot, and me with some pretty serious magnification. I remember in my my make ready sequence, I was going through getting inside. I'm like, okay, I think I'll keep it like 2, 3.5, whatever, like I normally do for a stage like this, for a bay of that size, of targets of that size. And I go ahead and get up. I'm like, oh man, I need to bump this, because it was very difficult for me to see. I remember going to like maybe 5 to 6x before I felt this was the right magnification for that.
Yeah,
so you guys are definitely in trouble.
Yeah, I never saw the small target. Like I knew where it was, and I could hone in on it. But that's honestly why I didn't make that last shot. Is I was spending time on that thing because I was shooting in the area.
It was like that one patch for reference, like a white patch that was used as reference, because everything else was just
yeah, they were like, see the white cardboard? Yes, target's just to the left of it.
Yep.
And there was a smudge.
It
was like, but the smudge was the target and all the misses around the target, so it was a very indistinct smudge. I think I found out the hard way that center mass on the smudge was not center mass of the target.
No, that's
it's not.
And that's where your equipment worked for you, because you had that LVVO, you had that magnification, and it could overcome that.
Correct.
Where was the red dots that we had? We were both sporting Aimpoint T2s.
Yep.
You on the Car 21, me on the RK62. And in my case, I noticed when the dot fell on the target, it obscured what I thought was the target.
Yeah.
And I think I also kind of self-sabotaged because I had a kill flash on there, which added to it and stuff. And it was just like, it was just, the target was tough.
Yeah.
Equipment on this stage and knowledge were the advantage. Your shooting skills, honestly, were third place. Yeah. Because if you could see it, you could hit it. And we watched a number of people do it.
Very finished stage, if you will. Very uniquely finished stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So even though that was our fourth stage of the day, it was the first stage of the match. We hope you found this coverage of Finnish Brutality 2025, Fire and Ice, Stage 1, helpful and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in tomorrow for Stage 2.